and probably within a month I had decided that I wanted to move to the UK.
Missing someone.
And it has been a hot minute since I last vlogged or even filmed anything on this channel. I was on such a roll last year when I first started my channel. I was filming every week and really enjoying it. Not just the filming, but the editing itself I really enjoyed. And then I sort of got to the middle of last year and I kind of just hit a wall personally, where I was just going through a lot of stuff in my personal life and I was trying to work through that, and I just thought, you know, it's really important to kind of prioritize your mental health and getting better in that regard, and not forcing myself to create, you know, content for the sake of creating content. I took a bit of a break and really focused on myself, and I guess the journey that I was on as part of that for the second half of last year is what brought me to wanting to move to London, which is kind of what this vlog is about. But I'm feeling so much better and I'm feeling so excited for this new chapter in my life, and I really wanted to share it with everyone. So at the middle of last year, I was going through some stuff and basically just like kind of questioning like what I was wanting to do with my career and my life and where I wanted to live. And I was kind of just not bored of Sydney per se. Just a bit of background, I'm from New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, but I had lived in Sydney for 10 years, and I'm actually back in New Zealand now. This is like my childhood bedroom. But I was very settled in Sydney. I wasn't like, you know, bored or dissatisfied per se, but I just had gotten to the point where there's just so many things about Sydney that just started to really bug me, and the biggest thing for me was I felt quite isolated, just because Sydney is such a huge city, and I always wanted to live you know, in certain suburbs that were maybe closer to the beach, because being outdoors and being by the beach was a really important part of my lifestyle. But, you know, my sister and my friends and the colleagues that I was really close with, you know, everyone chooses to live in different areas of Sydney based on their interests or their priorities or their lifestyle, or, you know, they want a bit more space, they don't want to be so cramped, so they might live out, you know, in the burbs. And it just made it very hard to like catch up with people regularly. Which sounds really silly, but if you've ever lived in Sydney, like, it really is a massive place, and once you move away from certain people, it becomes quite hard to like see them regularly. So I felt quite isolated, I suppose, and especially after the lockdowns and things like that, I had sort of just gotten very used to staying at home with my dog, and I always use that as an excuse, like, oh, I don't want to come out, I have to stay home with my dog, which just wasn't necessarily the case. Like, he was so fine to be left by himself for a few hours, and it was more just like, I guess, the level of effort that it took to, you know, go into the city, or, you know, it's quite expensive to go out in Sydney, so I kind of just, yeah, I felt quite, I wouldn't say lonely, even though there's nothing wrong with admitting that, but I would say I just felt a little bit, yeah, just isolated from everyone, and I just felt like, okay, I'm too young to be, you know, at home by myself every weekend, every night, and yeah, I just felt like I was never going to meet anyone new or you know, enjoy my time in Sydney if I didn't sort of push myself to try new things. So I did at that point consider moving to Melbourne, and I had spent some time last year in Melbourne. I really enjoyed it. I think it's just a really great city. It's got a really great sort of cultural scene, really great like food and bars and things like that I really enjoy, you know, going to the galleries and going to see shows, and I think just hanging out with friends that I live in Melbourne just felt a lot more accessible as compared to Sydney. It's just a very well connected city. It's less spread out. It's very easy to get from A to B, even by public transport. So Melbourne was really quite appealing to me, and I started planning like my move to Melbourne, and everyone was really supportive. And then my sister, when I finally told her, because we're really close, she was like, why are you just choosing somewhere in Australia? And I was like, I have my dog, Milan, and I'm very settled in Australia, like I can't go anywhere else. And she was like, if it's a year and you want to go you know, to the UK, if your dream is to travel through Europe and you want to see everywhere in Europe, you know, we'll make it happen. Like, why aren't you dreaming and thinking of, you know, further places abroad? And I was like, no, like, I have my dog here, I have you guys here, like, I want to be close, and I want to stay in Australia. And she was like, just think about it, like, if you want to do it, we'll find a way to have someone look after Milan for a year if you really want to do this. So within a week or two, like, I had already started messaging my friends who had either like gone on their OE and had come back, or were still in the UK, and just asked them, you know, if I should do it, like what the job market was like, what the rental market was like, that sort of thing. And probably within a month I had decided that I wanted to move to the UK. And from there, I just started planning, like, backwards from there. So this was about September or October, like, what I needed to do to be able to leave. And my date that I wanted to leave was towards the end of February, because I knew that my apartment, the lease was ending in mid-Feb, and then also I had my friend's wedding in Melbourne as well. And so pretty much from like December, January, and then of course February, I was downsizing my apartment, which was so chaotic. It was like the most stressful thing I've had to do, because I had like 10 years worth of stuff that I had just collected and stored because I thought that I would be using it one day. I've tried so many hobbies, so many arts and crafts, so many things. Like, I just saved from every single time I tried a new hobby. And it's just silly, like, it was just really weighing me down. And I think going forward, like, I feel so light now because I only have a few suitcases worth of things. I'm going to really try my best to only buy and keep things that really are important to me or that I really need, which is easier said than done, that's for sure. But just, I never want to have to go through that level of downsizing again. So I will show some footage here of what I did in my last week in my apartment and vacating the apartment. This is the state of my apartment at the moment. It is a complete mess, but at the same time it's also very empty. Hi Milan! Hi! Hello! I've just disassembled the couch. I have a friend picking that up soon. This was like the dining area, that's all gone now. This was my home office. It's kind of just like a dumping ground of everything. I still need to sort all of this out and start packing, like what I'm actually going to take with me on the plane and what I'm going to send over separately. And then this is the bedroom. I have someone who bought the bed and the mattress off Facebook Marketplace, so hopefully they'll be coming in the afternoon. So yeah, it's just a complete mess, but I'm just hopeful that it all gets picked up today, and yeah, that'll be just like one less thing that I have to worry about next week. I am vacating on Friday, so today is Sunday. Not really sure where I'm going to sleep exactly. Hopefully have like a trundle bed that I can use for the next few days before I move in with my sister. So yeah, just very tired at the moment, but we're going to get there. We are almost there. It's Friday morning, and it's the last morning in my apartment. Feeling pretty sentimental actually. It's a bittersweet feeling because I really love this apartment. I have lived here for a year and it's a really nice apartment actually. It wasn't in the best suburb, but it was really cheap, really affordable by Sydney standards anyway. It was huge. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and yeah, feeling very bittersweet at the moment. So the cleaners came on Wednesday, so I am going to have to do like another vacuum and a wipe down of everything, but they did like obviously the deep clean, and everything looks amazing, so hopefully I will get my full bond back. Yeah, it was a really nice apartment for what I paid, and it was the first time that I had like a proper home office set up. This was my home office. Lovely bathroom, and this was my bedroom. Like, when am I ever gonna get like a four door wardrobe again? It was huge. Amazing lighting, wooden floors, and this is my life at the moment in bags. So we've got my carry-on suitcase. I've got this new hybrid suitcase backpack thing that I got from Kathmandu, and then I've got my backpack, which I can also use as carry-on. And then, because I'm moving in with my sister for a few days, I've just got like my duvet and stuff, and those are all my toiletries. So when I have a bit more time, when I've moved in with my sister, I'm going to do like another cull, because even as it is now, I've literally culled so many times, my clothes, my toiletries, my makeup, everything. I think it's still too much, so I have to be really, really selective on what I decide to take. Just reminds me I need to get my robe down as well. So yeah, that's the current state of play. I am about to go get a facial at my lash lady's place. So I'm gonna get my lashes infilled and get a facial, which will be really relaxing. It's gonna take about 2 hours. So I just feel like this week has just been a week. It's been a week. Very stressful, both mentally and physically. Like, I live on the 3rd floor, so walking up and down all the stairs, taking all the rubbish down, taking all my stuff down has been a lot. So I'm looking forward to just relaxing for a couple of hours. And then I've got to let the fumigator in because I had my dog here. So as a condition of getting my bond back, I need to get the fumigators through. So that will be the last time I think I see this place. And then I'm going to hand in my keys, go and get some lunch with a girlfriend, and then go to my sister's place. And then I've got a concert tonight with some friends, which will be really nice. We're going to see Bon Iver finally. So yeah, just I feel like this week is it's been really hard because I'm really excited for what's ahead, but also terrified. And like, there's just been a few times this week where I felt like, I don't know, like, if I can do this. But then I think, okay, what is the alternative? Like, I can't stop. Like, I've made the decision that I want to leave, and you just gotta take it a day at a time. So it's scary, but we'll get there. And oh god. So yeah, just gonna do one final clean, gonna take all the rest of the stuff downstairs, and then head to my facial appointment. Then after I vacated my apartment, I did have a few farewells and stuff. I had like a work farewell and a friend's farewell, which is just amazing. Like, I felt the funny thing is, I felt like I didn't necessarily fit in, or like I felt quite isolated in Sydney towards the end. But then at the same time, the past few months in Sydney have been amazing, and spending time with all my friends and family just made me realize, like, wow, I do have a really big support network here. I do have some amazing friends here, and it just made me kind of realize that, maybe it wasn't the city so much as, if I had put more effort into hanging out with people, if I said yes to doing more things with people, I might not have felt the same way about Sydney. Of course, you can't go back and change things, and I'm just so excited for the decision that I have made. But yeah, it just made me realize like how blessed I was or am to have such a great network of friends and stuff in Sydney. So it was really, really hard to say goodbye to everyone, and I feel like I had about 100 farewell meals, and I think everyone was like ready for me to leave by that point. But yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard to say goodbye to my sister and her family, and yeah, I drove my car down to Melbourne, which is like a 10-hour drive, and it's a very boring drive in a sense that there's literally no, no mountains, no hills, like barely a bend in the road. It's just one straight, long, flat drive. But I had really good music and podcasts to listen to. And the reason why I drove my car down is because my friend in Melbourne is going to use my car for a year, so that if I come back, I have a car to use. I didn't want to sell it. And then I had his wedding to attend, and I managed to squeeze in a few things as well while I was in Melbourne. So I went to see this really great show called & Juliet, which is like a musical about if Juliet from Romeo and Juliet didn't kill herself. So it was a really great show. Highly recommend it if you're in Melbourne. And then yeah, just did a little bit of I guess window shopping. I didn't really want to buy anything. Just walked through the city, had some really great food, and yeah, just did all the things that I usually love going to Melbourne for. And it really cemented the fact that, if I do come back to Australia, it's definitely the city that I want to move to in the future and just give it a go, even for a year or two. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then after that, I flew back to New Zealand, and then straight away, so I flew into Auckland, and then straight away took a domestic flight to Whangarei, which is a city, by car it's about 2 hours north of Auckland, and that is the city that I was born in, actually. And I did move to Hamilton when I was 3 years old, but I still have like family, friends and things up there. And I hadn't seen my godmother since I was like 13, so that was about 20 years ago. I hadn't been back to Whangarei in about 20 years. It's a small-ish town, but like there were parts that I still remembered from my childhood, and then there's obviously parts that are like massively gentrified and built up. So it was really great, and I just think, you forget when you're growing up that like your family or like your family friends and things like that are also getting older, and so it's really important, I think, to keep in touch with these people and to see them as much as you can, because you don't know how long they're going to be around for, or I don't know how long I'm going to be traveling for. So it's really important to make the most of the time that you have. And Milan, he actually is going to stay with my parents for a year. Those of you who may be interested, for a small dog like Milan to fly from Sydney to Auckland, all up, including the flights, the crate, all of his blood tests, all of his treatments and things before he flew, is just over 4,000 Australian dollars, which is a lot. It is a lot, but I just feel a lot more reassured knowing that he is staying with my parents. And I was so worried about him settling in, but he loves it here. Mum and dad are absolutely spoiling him rotten. They love him, and also the garden, and like he's never had a garden or a yard to run around in. I've always lived in an apartment, so little things like that. I think he's really enjoying it, and just knowing that he's going to be happy and safe, it's very reassuring when I'm traveling, but I'm definitely going to miss him so much. He just had a shower today, so he's very grumpy. So then I spent a couple of days in Whangarei, and then I took a bus from Whangarei through Auckland and then to my hometown in Hamilton. So Hamilton by car is about an hour and a half from Auckland, and then my mum picked me up, and I was working remotely, so I'm still working remotely for my company until the end of March, which is very lucky for me. And so I worked remotely Thursday and Friday, and then I caught up with some friends on Saturday, which was really nice. Again, it's, I think, just really lovely to see people that I don't get to see all the time because I live in Sydney, but everyone always makes such a lovely effort to sort of hang out, and there are some really nice restaurants and places in Hamilton. I also took a drive out to Raglan, which was really nice. It's a beachside little town near Hamilton, and it hasn't changed too much, actually. It was just really nice. And then yeah, today I'm going to spend some time with my mum and dad, and then my shuttle for the airport, for the Auckland airport, arrives at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for a flight at 9 a.m. So I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be too paranoid about sleeping through like my alarm, and I'm going to be too, I think, nervous and wired to even sleep anyway. But yeah, that is where we're at currently. That is the life update. It's all come together. It feels like it's taken forever, and yet at the same time so fast. But it's been about, from the point that I decided that I wanted to go to the UK, probably about 6 months. But in terms of stress levels, I would say that kicked in from about Christmas to pretty much now. Like, people keep asking me, like, what is the first thing you're going to do when you get to London? And the answer that I have is, like, I literally haven't even had a chance to think about, like, what I'm going to do in London, like, what I'm going to, like, what I want to see, what I want to do, because I've been so preoccupied. Like, I was working full-time, but also vacating my apartment, but also running all my errands and just doing everything that I possibly could to, like, tie up any loose end in Sydney, to then coming to New Zealand and still working and still catching up with everyone. So it's just been this like whirlwind adventure to even get to this point. So now I can finally, like, once I'm on that plane tomorrow, I think that's when it's going to finally sink in, like, okay, what can I actually do when I get to London? And I'm so lucky that I have friends that are going to collect me, and I can stay with them for a bit until I get settled in. And yeah, I just am excited to document this whole process, and I'm so nervous and I'm so excited, and there's just no turning back. Like, at so many points I just had like a meltdown because I was like, oh my god, what if I decided, like, what have I done? And I think, what if I hadn't done all this? I mean, I would just be content. No doubt I would be content, I would be happy, I would be secure, I would have had a nice apartment, a nice job, everything, but it would just be the same. Like, I could literally be sitting here in a year's time and nothing would have changed. Nothing at all would have changed. But now I'm like, oh god, I have no idea what my year ahead looks like, and the possibilities are endless, and that is very exciting but also extremely daunting. But yeah, I've just got to back myself, really, and it's going to be an adventure. No, it's going to be an adventure in any case, and I'm so excited. And I think I'll try and vlog a little bit at the airport and whilst I'm in transit and when I first arrive in London. Just got through customs, and it's really busy. It's a Monday morning, so there's a lot of commuters travelling at this time. My shuttle came at like 4 in the morning this morning, so I didn't really get to sleep, and I just say goodbye to mum and dad and to Milan, which was really hard. So I'm feeling a bit sad at the moment, but also really excited. So the first of 2 very long flights to come, so looking forward to that. First leg of the trip down. The flight from Auckland to London was pretty chill. I usually sleep very well on planes, but they had White Lotus season 2, which I hadn't seen yet, and I really wanted to watch it, so I ended up binging the whole thing and didn't sleep at all. I'm pretty tired. I've got a stopover now in Hong Kong. It's a very quiet airport, so I've got my little travel pillow. I'm just gonna take a little nap for about an hour. I'm really paranoid because I'm traveling by myself, and I'm really paranoid that I'm gonna oversleep and like miss my plane even though I've got about 3 or 4 more hours until I have to board. But yeah, I just am really paranoid. So yeah, not long now. Just got the second half of the flight too. We made it to London just 30 hours later. I'm here. My friend Laura picked me up. I'm so lucky to have someone pick me up from the airport, because navigating the tube and the buses was very confusing for a newbie. But I think I will end my vlog off here because I've just been talking non-stop for about half an hour at this point. But today I'm just going to go buy some sort of basic clothes that are little bit warmer than what I brought. It's very cold here at the moment. It's about 2 degrees. I think it's supposed to snow this week, which would be amazing, but it's so cold compared to Sydney, which never really gets too cold. And then go get some like skincare stuff from Boots, which I'm very excited about. Boots is like a chemist, like a Priceline kind of thing. So I'll probably do like a haul and things like that during my next video. But thank you so much for following along my crazy rambling moving vlog, part 1 of me moving to London. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time.